Your Google ad costs and ad spend in general make a pretty big difference when it comes to ending a month profitably versus just going month after month after month with good revenue but barely any profit. So how do you get to the level where you're basically spending a decent amount of money, maybe 5 figures, 6 figures, whatever your pockets can allocate, and getting results like these ones where you're spending 124 grand in a total given month, specifically last 30 days, and then you're making back $1.1 million instead of kind of running the brand at a loss. Or maybe within the last 30 days, your campaigns are running so profitably with such less ad spend that you're getting basically $15 cost per link clicks or $9 cost per link clicks. And because of these low costs in general, you're able to spend more money to attract that ideal customer. You're able to spend more money per product. And as a result, you're able to scale not only your revenue, but also your profits. What is the big secret strategy? In this video, I'm going to cover my exact strategy on lowering ad costs in 2023 and onwards when it comes to Google Ads or just about any other advertising platform out there without crossing that very fine, thin line of spending too little money versus spending too much to get that ideal revenue and profit number. But before we can do any of that, let's first start talking about the overall misconception of cutting your costs when it comes to Google Ads and how brand owners think that involves a lot of different things, such as cutting campaigns, cutting budgets, cutting different team members, and all sorts of these things which make a very small impact long term on the overall success of your e-commerce brand. Now, the e-commerce store owners that do exactly this, where they're trying to kind of do penny pinching, they're trying to save every single penny that leaves their ads account, and they're trying to be as frugal as possible. I like to think of these e-commerce store owners as the cheap e-commerce store owners who really have no ideal strategy to make their ads better. As a result, they do only what they know, which is to penny pinch and try to spend as little as possible. If that is your kind of ideology of how to lower your ad spend or your ad costs in general with Google Ads, then you're gonna learn a lot of new things, because that really is not even included in the proper way of lowering your ad spend or your other costs. The proper ways are things that directly cut down your cost per link clicks, like with the second ad account I showed you, or maybe ways that lower the wasted ad spend instead of all of the ad spend in general, or maybe a way of improving the overall quality of the audience members visiting your website. So you'll no longer have to cut budgets, because now you're gonna have much higher quality people coming through the funnel, coming on your website, or maybe letting automated bidding do a lot of the controlling for you, so you don't have to just guess what a perfect bid is for your products, or maybe just expanding to different campaign types or countries in general, so you're not kind of left trying to pick up the scraps from the whole piece of the pie because you have so many competitors within the US or whatever other market you target. But instead, get the whole pie because of the country or campaign type you're now targeting. Let's start off with, first of all, how to even begin the entire process of lowering ad spend or ad costs, and it begins with the foundation. Now, I might seem like a little broken record repeating this every single video, and if this is one of the first videos you're watching, by the way, make sure to subscribe down below. I post a lot of Google Ads and e-com content, but it really starts with the foundation. There is no other real approach to this, and when I say foundation, I'm talking about things like the SEO of the overall product titles, the SEO of the overall product descriptions, the overall feed quality, meaning are there a bunch of different errors within your Google Merchant Center? Are you using reviews? Are using promotions and all sorts of these other programs within the Google Merchant Center? It's all about the landing page experience. It's not about the ad yet. It's not about the ad strategy yet. It's just about what the person, the ideal customer, sees on the first go. So to illustrate this, I'm gonna go ahead and go on to Google and type in my legendary example of 3D printer, because I want to really show you where the overall strategy of lowering your ad spend and ad cost begins. To understand that, we need to understand why you even get charged in the first place. So obviously, if somebody types in a specific keyword for a product you sell, then your ad has the potential of showing up here based on the auction that just took place behind the scenes. There's a lot of reasons why this brand right here is number one versus this brand right here is not number one. You can watch some of my other videos where I go over in detail with how the algorithm works. But just in general, this is what you get charged for, not the impression itself of having having your ad get shown because I typed a specific keyword in for a product you sell, but because I actually click on the ad to go over to your product page, and I may have accidentally just charged this brand here for no reason. If you're the owner of this brand, I do apologize, by the way, but that is essentially how the Google Ads algorithm works and where the foundation starts. So this right here, this is the ad itself, which is basically your foundation. How your quality of your image, how the quality of your title is, how the quality of your price, all the different programs that you use, all of these things influence directly what the quality and overall level of your foundation is. So this is where the overall kind of process begins of lowering your costs and getting them to these dirt cheap levels where you're able to spend only about 5 figures, 6 figures and get almost a 8x, 9x, even a 10x ROAS. That's really the first step of this strategy, which is developing and building a very strong foundation. The way you do this, it's gonna entirely depend on your niche, what products you sell, your AOV, all of this stuff. So there's really no one set strategy for that, but it does start with just having a very general approach for proper SEO, product feed quality, the overall landing page experience, etc., etc. This brings us to the second step of lowering your ad spend and cost, which is the actual ad and ad strategy itself. So in terms of how you're laying out your campaigns, is everything just jam-packed inside one smart bidding based performance max campaign, or do you have multiple different campaigns with a segregation strategy in place, or are you doing something like a winners versus losers? All these things make a huge impact on the overall ad spend and the ad cost of your store, because if you have the wrong bid, if you're just trying to jam pack a bunch of different products together which have no correlation to each other and hoping the algorithm is on your side to get the product shown to the right person, then you're in for a big surprise, because that's not really how Google works. It needs a little bit of help from your end. Keep in mind, Google, you cannot insert ad interest to target like you would with Facebook or TikTok. So your quote interest targeting is essentially how you have laid out your campaigns, your SEO for your product titles, your images, and all of that stuff. So the second step of this strategy is to really segregate based on certain similarities. I always talk about this in my other videos, so I'm not gonna go too in detail with that, but segregation is one of the keys to having low CPCs, because naturally just some of the collections within your e-commerce brand's niche might just have a lower CPC because of low competition, or maybe because you're doing something better than your competitors, and as a result some of your campaigns or that specific individual campaign might just have lower CPCs compared to the other campaigns which you have running, which maybe are more competitive or just the AOV is higher for them, etc., etc. So you really want to kind of segregate these out into two different campaigns, because this lets each individual campaign and the algorithm associated with each campaign react differently per campaign, and as a result per sub collection or sub niche within your brand itself. Now, if you have only one product or 5 products, by all means put everything inside of one campaign. It's not going to make much of a difference at that point, but most e-commerce stores have multiple products, have multiple subcategories, sub-collections, so on and so forth. So it really makes sense to have a proper segregation strategy in place, because overall, when one campaign really starts to perform well, it's gonna give the account on a broad level, on the account level, a signal that, hey, this account is doing something right. As a result, more people are interacting with the ads, the CTR is high. Let's make the CPC low here, but not only here, but on the account level, because if the brand here is doing something right on the campaign level, it's probably gonna do something right on the account level. This is exactly how the algorithm is thinking. So that's why it makes such a big difference between having a properly segregated strategy versus having everything jam-packed inside one campaign. But along with that, then expanding to multiple different campaign types, because as I mentioned, with different segregated campaigns, it's the same thing with different campaign types. Some performance max campaigns will have a very high bid. Some campaigns which are not performance max, maybe it's a branded search campaign or just a cold traffic search campaign, YouTube campaign, whatever the case might be, it might have a completely different bid. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket when you want to lower your ad spend or cost in general. So as a result, you want to expand onto multiple different campaign types. You don't want to just also do standard shopping, manual bidding only, or smart bidding only, because then it's like putting all the eggs in one basket. But once all of that is done, then it's really about bringing all of these things together. So with a proper foundation, meaning the right SEO strategies, the right image quality, the right feed quality, the right merchant center programs, which help you stand out versus your competitors like these ones right here with codes, reviews, etc. And then combining that with the perfect ad itself, which makes up the bulk of the ad strategy portion, and then launching the campaigns with proper strategies, segregation, segmentation, all of those things. That's when it really kind of opens to your chances of lowering the overall ad spend. But keep in mind that this is not gonna really happen overnight, because when you apply these strategies not only for one campaign or one product but across the whole account, that's when over time Google's algorithm starts to notice that you are doing something right, and over a couple of days, weeks, even months, the cost will start to go down and the ad spend will start to go down. It's about having proper keyword research done for the foundation. It's about having a good landing page experience for your customers and an ad that actually suits your brand, as well as the audience that's interacting with your ad, and then combining that with segregation. But it's a very holistic approach. There's no really one right answer to this. Every brand can go about this process separately. We do it separately and a customized approach for every single brand which we work with, which, by the way, if you're doing $40,000 or more per month in revenue, you need just a little bit of extra help scaling your e-commerce brand to the next level with Google Ads. Go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can potentially work together and make that happen. But I want you to watch this video right here on how to rank #1 with Google Shopping Ads. It applies all of these techniques but in greater detail to tell you exactly how to do it and my strategy.